My beloved brothers and sisters, the Quran is not just a book we recite. It is a manual for life, a light in times of darkness, and a cure for every ailment of the heart. Among its greatest chapters is Surah Al-Baqarah, a surah filled with wisdom, blessings and protection. It is a fortress for the believer, a shield against Shaitaan, and a source of peace for every home that embraces it. Every verse carries divine guidance, teaching us faith, patience, sincerity, and reliance upon Allah. When we connect our hearts to this surah, we invite barakah into our homes, tranquility into our hearts, and strength into our souls. Let us explore the blessings that make Surah Al-Baqarah so special. Surah Al-Baqarah is a fortress of light and protection for every believer. When a person recites it, angels surround the home, mercy descends, and Shaitan runs away. Many of us underestimate the power that lies within this surah. It is not just about the recitation, it is about allowing its words to enter our hearts and bring peace to our lives. The Prophet reminded us that those who recite Surah Al-Baqarah will be blessed and their homes will be filled with tranquility. It brings light to the darkest corners of our hearts and homes. When you recite it with sincerity, it becomes a source of comfort during times of sadness and a protection against unseen harm. The beauty of this surah is that its blessings are not limited to one moment. They extend to every area of our life. It brings barakah in our time, our family, our health, and our earnings. The home where Surah Al-Baqarah is read regularly becomes a home of peace, free from spiritual disturbances. This surah is a reminder that Allah's words are the strongest shield a believer can hold. Every verse carries wisdom and mercy that guide us towards the straight path. So even if you cannot recite it all in one sitting, recite a portion daily. Make it a habit to let its verses echo through your home. Recite with understanding. Reflect upon its meanings and see how it transforms your heart. When your heart is filled with the Quran, you will notice calmness in your thoughts and blessings in your life. Surah Al-Baqarah is not just a recitation, it is a connection between the believer and Allah, a connection that brings peace, light, and protection wherever it is recited. Surah Al-Baqarah is a complete guide for those who seek success in this world and the hereafter. It is the longest chapter of the Quran, yet every verse is filled with wisdom, guidance, and mercy. Within it, Allah teaches us the principles of faith, patience, justice, worship, and character. It covers matters of family, business, morality, and social life, showing that Islam is not limited to rituals, but a way of living. Every time we read this surah, we are reminded that true success does not lie in wealth or power, but in obedience and humility before Allah. It trains the believer to remain firm during trials and to stay grateful during blessings. The stories of the prophets in this surah remind us of perseverance and trust in Allah's plan. They teach us that even when things seem difficult, Allah never abandons His servants. Surah Al-Baqarah transforms our mindset by purifying our intentions and strengthening our hearts. It calls us to prayer, encourages charity, and commands justice and kindness. It reminds us that faith is not just spoken by the tongue but proven through action. When you live by the teachings of this surah, you will find balance in your emotions, peace in your heart, and clarity in your purpose. It brings us closer to Allah by reminding us of our responsibilities and the accountability we all have before Him. The more we reflect on its meanings, the more we realize how perfect Allah's guidance is. Each verse has a message meant for our growth. Surah Al-Baqarah is not just to be read and closed, it is to be lived and applied daily. When its words shape your actions, you begin to live a life filled with purpose, peace, and divine blessings. Among the greatest treasures of Surah Al-Baqarah is Ayatul Kursi, a verse that stands as a pillar of protection, power, and peace. It reminds us of the greatness of Allah, that He is the ever-living, the all-sustaining, the one who never sleeps nor forgets. His knowledge encompasses everything in the heavens and the earth, and nothing escapes His control. When a believer recites Ayatul Kursi with faith, he is declaring his complete trust in Allah's power and sovereignty. It becomes a shield against fear, anxiety, and evil. The Prophet taught that whoever recites this verse after every obligatory prayer is protected until the next prayer. Reciting it before sleeping brings safety through the night, for Allah appoints an angel to guard the believer. Many of us go through moments of worry and helplessness, feeling that the world is too heavy to bear. But when you recite Ayatul Kursi and reflect on its meaning, your heart begins to feel light. For you realize that the one who controls the universe is also taking care of your affairs. It strengthens your connection with Allah and fills you with contentment. This verse is a reminder that no difficulty, no harm, and no evil can overpower the will of Allah. It teaches us to rely on Him fully, to let go of fear, and to live with peace in our hearts. When Ayatul Kursi becomes a part of your daily routine, you walk through life with spiritual armor, protected by the mercy and might of your Creator. It is not merely a verse to be memorized, it is a verse to be lived, recited with reflection, and trusted as a reminder that Allah is always watching over you, protecting you, and guiding you. The last two verses of Surah Al-Baqarah are among the most powerful and comforting verses in the entire Quran. They are a gift from Allah, revealed as a source of mercy and protection for the believers. The Prophet mentioned that whoever recites these two verses at night, they will be sufficient for him. These verses beautifully summarize faith, submission, and the mercy of Allah. They remind us of the bond between Allah and His servants, a bond built on trust and compassion. Within them lies a message of hope, for Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear, This single statement brings peace to the troubled heart. It reassures us that every hardship we face is within our capacity and that Allah knows our limits better than we do. When life feels overwhelming, these verses remind us that Allah's mercy outweighs His punishment and His understanding is beyond our comprehension. They also teach us the importance of acknowledging our weaknesses, seeking forgiveness, and turning to Allah in every situation. Reciting these verses before sleeping is like entrusting your heart, your worries, and your soul to Allah. It is an act of surrender, saying, "O Allah, I leave everything in your hands." The words of these verses are not just a comfort, they are a shield that guards the believer throughout the night. They strengthen faith, ease anxiety, and fill the home with tranquility. When you make a habit of reciting them daily, you will find yourself more at peace, more patient, and more hopeful. These verses are a gentle reminder that no matter how difficult life becomes, Allah's help is always near, and His mercy never leaves those who turn to Him sincerely. Surah Al-Baqarah is a powerful protection against the whispers of Shaitaan and all forms of spiritual harm. The Prophet clearly stated that Shaitaan flees from the house in which this surah is recited. That is because the words of Allah carry a light that darkness cannot withstand. Many people experience restlessness, arguments, or unexplained tension in their homes, and they look for worldly solutions. But often, the real answer lies in reviving the remembrance of Allah through His book. When Surah Al-Baqarah is recited regularly, peace begins to settle in the home, hearts soften, and blessings multiply. It is like surrounding your house with divine light that no evil can penetrate. This surah is a form of spiritual cleansing, removing negativity, envy, and unseen harm. It strengthens your faith and keeps you steadfast upon righteousness. Every verse you recite pushes away the darkness of doubt and fear. Even if you cannot recite the entire surah in one sitting, make it a habit to read a few verses daily or listen to its recitation with reflection. You will feel the difference in your environment and in your heart. It brings unity in families, eases tensions, and replaces anger with calmness. Surah Al-Baqarah is not just a defense against evil forces, it is a nourishment for the soul. It fills the home with angels and removes every trace of Shaitan's influence. Recite it with faith, not as a ritual, but as a reminder that Allah's words are more powerful than any harm that may come your way. When you live under the shade of this surah, you are living under Allah's protection, a protection that never fails those who believe, recite, and trust in Him completely.